What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show up on the air on your radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also live online, sportstalk1051.com. Stream it up over there. You can check us out through your smart devices, smart speakers, video streams up and rolling, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, got a TV, you can Roku it up, just put on the YouTube app and look it up over there. Yeah, you can do that too. Technology these days, man. You got the app, download it, take it on the go. Bunch of different ways for you to be joining us here this morning. Big thanks for making us a part of your start on this Tuesday of what do we got here? June 11th. What do we got on our game plan for us this morning? Crew picking up a win last night in game one of their series against the Toronto Blue Jays. Colin Ray picking up his fifth win of the season. Mr. Ray was pretty sharp last night, going a strong 7 innings, giving up just 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks. The 1 earned run coming on a solo shot early on in the game in the 3rd inning there. But Colin Ray coming out and having one of his best, maybe best performance of the season. And the Brewers not having to tax out their bullpen or anything in this game, but an absolutely awesome performance by Colin Ray for the Crew. And in a group that, as we know, a pitching staff that has been decimated by injuries. It's pretty darn good to see him step up and have himself a fantastic game last night. Jackson Cheerio also picking up a home run. Willie Adames collecting a couple of hits as well. But the Crew picking up a 3-1 victory. Dalton Varsho was actually one of the only Blue Jays to collect a hit last night. 4 hits, just 4 hits from the Blue Jays. Half of them coming from their second baseman, Horwitz there. But Brewers will try again and try to get at least a series win with a W tonight. But Brewers going to have another debut, another rookie debut, another debut as a starting pitcher, Carlos Rodriguez. We were talking about it a little bit yesterday. He is slated to get the start, his major league debut coming at you tonight. So we'll preview that coming up here in just a little bit. And this is an opportunity for him. Big moment, obviously, with his major league debut, but with the news yesterday too about Robert Gasser, sounds like he could be done for the year. He's getting a third opinion. But Pat Murphy saying yesterday before the game that he's operating under the he's kind of operating with the assumption he will not be back for this year. So he's going to Robert Gasser getting a third opinion. It's a UCL injury. One opinion was it's not torn or anything like that, but it's put it in generic terms here. It's pretty weak. And one option was surgery and to kind of reinforce it and such. But it does not look good for Robert Gasser to return at some point this season, especially when you have your skipper going out there saying he's going to be kind of operating under the assumption that he will not be back. And Murphy said, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But yeah, that was another blow to this pitching staff. I mean, Woodruff we knew was going to be out. Wade Miley started off the season out now. Joe Ross had a setback, so he won't be able to come off the injured list anytime soon. He was they were hoping that he was going to be off the injured list during the West Coast trip in California coming up next week, but that's not going to happen. DL Hall, he is heading to Nashville to resume a rehab assignment, but he's been on the IL since the middle of April, and he had a little bit of a setback at the end of May. But even beforehand, I mean, he's a guy that, kind of up and down there. But and then you got Jacob Junis, who, you know, was reading a little bit earlier this morning. His velocity was down during a June 8th rehab start. So the Brewers sent him to their complex in Arizona, where he's scheduled to throw 4 simulated innings on tomorrow. So they'll see how that's going to go. But yeah, they're as Murphy said too, they're piecing it together the best that they can. So I mean, that's a blow, and you hate to see. I mean, Robert Gasser, for crying out loud. I mean, a dude who made his major league debut and was put into some high pressure situations right away, and it looked absolutely fantastic in his season. We'll operate under the same assumption as Pat Murphy, but it looks like his season's already done with. And if it's not torn, if his UCL is not torn, that's where the Tommy John and such. Obviously, that's the better case scenario than it actually being torn. But still, if he does have surgery and such, it's just you hope he's able to come back and kind of pick up where he left off. Come back next year and pick up where he left off of this year. So, but man, it just makes you wonder. I mean, it's got to make a couple of moves now, right? I mean, you got to make a couple of moves here with this pitching staff. So, on the offensive side of things, Garrett Mitchell has been assigned to the Arizona League to begin a rehab assignment. So, I mean, he's been sidelined since the final week of spring training. He didn't have surgery. On that broken finger there, but he's finally getting some rehab starts in there too. So something to kind of pay attention to. And with this outfield depth, where is maybe that room? Blake Perkins has been playing, some darn good defense out there. Has had some moments on the offensive side of things too. So, but we'll see. We'll see where it kind of all plays out. But we'll talk some more Brewers coming up here in just a little bit, recapping last night's win and looking ahead to tonight's game 2 with the Blue Jays and Mr. Carlos Rodriguez making his major league debut. Hoops wise, we had some Bucks news yesterday. Darvin Ham, longtime assistant, former player for the Bucks, who spent the last couple of years as head coach for the for the Lakers. He's coming back. He's coming back to the Bucks as a lead assistant. Now, I know on the surface, be like, okay, big whoop, sort of move. But couple things here. One, I was a little surprised he didn't maybe go follow Mike Budenholzer to Phoenix and be on his staff or such. But Adrian Wojnarowski said that he had been highly sought after among teams this spring. But this is a guy that's had a ton. I mean, he's got a lot of fans in that building, a lot of fans in that locker room, player-wise. So a lot of those current players right now who spent some time with Darvin Ham when he was with Milwaukee love Darvin Ham. I think this is a solid move, a good move by Doc Rivers to bring a familiar face bring him back to Milwaukee back on the bench there. So I like the move, and again, off season with this Bucks team, maybe this is the biggest move or one of the bigger moves that they make all off season, but just because of salary cap restrictions and not able to make a lot of moves. But I like the move to bring back a familiar face of a guy that especially Giannis really respected. A lot of the guys on that team really liked, really respected. I mean, there was even talks last year that, should Darvin Ham, if Darvin Ham was there, maybe an extra year, if they moved on from Bud a little bit sooner, would Darvin Ham be the head coach of the Bucks? But he went over to the Lakers and became the head coach a couple of years ago. So I know some people on social media, on X, on Twitter, Facebook, whatever the case may be, is already saying there's your future head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. But I like it. I think it's a solid move, and I think provides some good depth on the bench over there too. So, but did have a little bit of Bucks news, and that wasn't the biggest head coaching news yesterday, as Danny Hurley will not be going to the Lakers. He's going to be staying at UConn, going to be staying over there. So, and not to get on a Laker topic because if you listen to national stuff, that's probably going to be the main story over there. But whoever the Lakers coach is going to be now, if it's JJ Redick or somebody, they're inadvertently going to be compared to what Dan Hurley does at UConn, even though it's pro in college and such. But it's going to be widely known. It's the second choice, the second choice. Whoever is going to be that head coach for the Lakers, and fans will compare him, and even those and maybe in the media are going to unnecessarily compare whoever the coach is going to be to Dan Hurley, even though it's two completely different different leagues over there. So, but yeah, not jumping, not taking that massive contract offer. Looked like it was going to be, I think I saw, turned down a 6-year, $70 million deal to go back to UConn, and Hurley signed a 6-year, $32 million deal with UConn after the 2022-23 season. So a little bit of a not as much pay, but obviously he's in a pretty good spot over there at UConn too. So what else do we got on the docket? It is an ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears at Tuesday. So whatever is grinding your gears, make sure you let us know and hit us up with a text on that. Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, 715-830-1912. What's grinding your gears? Get it off your chest. Now is the chance to do so. Big thanks to everybody yesterday who texted in, commented, sent in your nominations for our Packers region for our little bracket that we're going to be doing throughout the summer here, trying to figure out who the most underrated Wisconsin sports athlete is of all time. And we've got the Packers region all set. Chuck Cecil. Then this was based off of the amount of votes from you. It wasn't my picks. It was based off of the amount of votes and nominations out there. So whoever got multiple votes was put on here, and in no particular order because we're not going to be seeding them or anything like that. Just going to be random matchups. But we had Chuck Cecil, we had Paul Kaufman, we had Amon Green, we had Frank Winters, Aaron Campman, Nick Collins, Al Harris, William Henderson, George Kuntz, Tremont Williams, Lynn Dickey, Tim Harris, John Brockington, Brian Williams, Ezra Johnson, and Chad Clifton. So those are your 16. Don't like them? Talk to the other listeners because that's who all received multiple votes, the top 16 amount of votes there. I know I said we were going to do Brewers today, but we're going to switch it up and we're gonna do Badgers because we've got RJ Cardinal coming up in a couple hours from now, and I want to get a few names from him. So now throughout the morning here, now that we've got the Packer region set, let's work on the Badger region and try to finalize that one today. So whether it's hockey, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, who are some of the most underrated Badger sports athletes of all time? And focus on just their college careers, okay? Focus just on their college careers. Because we know there's probably some athletes who maybe had a fantastic pro career, maybe a little underrated in the college aspect. If they did go the pro career, if they did go to the pros or played at a professional level, don't count that. We're looking at kind of just maybe their time that they spent with the Badgers. Okay, the time that they spent with the Badgers. So you have to hit me up on the Shoe Doctors bullpen line, texting line over there. That way I can add them all up there or comment on our Facebook statuses that we've had over there so I could add them to the list we got going here on the computer. So hit me up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line with the text so I can easily copy and paste and put her over there. So, but I know Surveyor Sam had a good list on Facebook that we added up over there too. So try to just focus on their college careers, and it could be basketball, football, hockey, whatever sports over there at at UW. So get those names coming on in, and hopefully we'll finalize that region. Top 16 vote getters will get in there. So got that coming up throughout the morning. But again, we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal a couple hours from now and maybe get a few names from him. Also, it is Tuesday, so we'll catch up with the Eau Claire Express coming up just past 8 o'clock this morning. The Express will be on the road tonight, taking on the Wausau Woodchucks, and then the Wausau Woodchucks coming over to the game tomorrow, to the Carson Park tomorrow night for Game 2 of that series. So we'll catch up with with folks from the Eau Claire Express. The Express falling last night to Waterloo Bucks. Express had a lead, but last couple innings there, big runs for Waterloo, and that propelled them to a 12-6 victory. High school state baseball tournament also began yesterday. Hudson did fall in their game against Sun Prairie East 4-3, but we got a couple of teams in action today, including Cumberland, who will be taking on Aquinas in Division 3, and Oliva Strum taking on Pacelli in Division 4. So best of luck to those teams as they begin their state run today. All right, let's get things rolling here this morning. Start to hit me up with those texts and comments on the video streams, whatever's easier for you to join us here this morning. All right, so let's I don't know if that's like, what are some of those messages on there too? So I don't know if that's spam or not. All right, let's get things rolling here this morning. Coming up on the leadoff, we'll talk a little Brewers to get things rolling here this morning. Brewers picking up a 3-1 victory last night. 3-1 victory last night. Game 2 tonight. We got another debut. Carlos Rodriguez going to be getting the start for the Brewers. Robert Gasser seems like his career is, or not career, not, hopefully not career. Well, it looks like his season is over with that elbow injury. So another starting pitcher, another pitcher down for this season for the Brewers. Where do they go from here? Let's talk about it all. But first, quick break, and then we'll get things rolling here this morning. Coming up after these few words. Casper Classic coming up in under 2 months from now. Make sure you've got your teams signed up. Just visit sportstalk1051.com to get your team in. Otherwise, you can visit aroundthe715.com. It's available up over there too. Your two-person team for just $90 includes some free drink tickets, a meal, courtesy from our good friends at Hy-Vee. It's all at Princeton Valley. Coming up Friday, August 2nd. Even if maybe you want to get out on the course early and get your round in, we've got a 7:30 a.m. Tee time over there too. So we opened up another slot there. So heck, if you got something else going on during the day, but you want to participate here and like, oh man, I don't know if I can work it in my schedule. Hey, get out on the course early over there at 7:30, and you're still going to be eligible to potentially win, the title belts and such, and all that good stuff. So more details again at sportstalk1051.com. And as you all know, that this is our outing that will help benefit Backyard Dreams, our big outing, our big fundraiser for Backyard Dreams. But big thanks to those, and we are looking for. By the way, we are looking for if you got any donations for prizes for raffles or anything like that. We're definitely looking for that. But we big thanks to those who have already dropped off some prize donations. Hopefully, crossing fingers, we're going to get some sweet stuff from our good friends, the Brewers and the Bucks there too. Been chatting with them a little bit there, but we got stuff from the pack from the Packers who donated in that. So, but make sure you get your teams in if you want to participate Friday, August 2nd. Big thanks, by the way, to the Green and Gold, to the Packers for yesterday officially announcing that their family night's going to be the day after. Not that same day. So you could still golf and then go to family night the next day over there. So I know they purposely did that too to help us out there. But big thanks to our sponsors for the for the Casper Classic. We've got Hy-Vee, as we mentioned, Carpet City Flooring Center, Park Ridge Distributing, AJM Automotive Service, the Elbow Room, Muldoon's Menswear, Doodah Gent, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Kelsey Nikolai, Hannah Sellner Agency, American Family Insurance, Gemco Surfaces, Resonant Branding Company, Shepke Chiropractic, and of course, big thanks to Princeton Valley Golf Course for hosting us for the outing. So, all right, let's get things going here this morning. Keep your Badger only nominations coming. All right, keep your Badger nominations coming. And again, try to just focus on what they did during their Badger career. So, I mean, if they were a Badger player that was all Big Ten and got all those accolades and such, probably not an underrated player. We're kind of focusing just on what they did during the Badgers. And reminder, we'll have a Brewers region and then an open region after that, where we'll include some Bucks players, maybe some Olympians or some other athletes that maybe played at a different university or anything like that. So got the Packer one all set because of your votes. We're going to work on the Badger one throughout the day today. So, but let's begin talking a little Brewers here this morning. Crew picking up a 3-1 victory last night. Colin Ray was masterful last night, picking up his 5th win to improve to 5-2, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 4. That 1 earned run coming on a solo shot. Here's a fun nugget from Adam McCulvey, who covers the Brewers for Brewers.com. Colin Ray threw 7 innings of 1-run ball after starting. Here it is. After starting the first 2 hitters with ball 1, he threw 21 straight first pitch strikes. Piamps and McGill extended the streak to 28 straight first pitch strikes when they came in for relief afterwards. Throwing strikes, baby. After starting off with ball 1 in the first, couple batters, straight up strikes after that. Colin Ray, perhaps his best start of the entire season. And it came at a perfect time too, with this pitching staff, kind of in flux due to health concerns and such. Now, it would be awesome if Colin Ray can, continue performances like this throughout the season. Odds are probably not going to happen. But when we look at what Colin Ray has done lately here for the Crew, he's been pretty darn. Last couple outings, you go back to Philly, and it's just 2 games in June, but he's thrown a .82 ERA. If we go back to his earned runs in the last couple games here, 1 yesterday, 0 against Philly. Cubbies, 1. Boston, 2. So, his last 4 games, he's put together a few stretches here, a few games in a row now where he's pitched pretty solid, pretty darn solid. I'll take the type of performance he had last night 10 times out of 10 any day of the week here. So, good game for him. I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday. For me, he's maybe one of those guys makes me a little bit nervous. Makes me a little nervous because I don't know what to expect. I don't know fully what to expect from him every time he's out there. But gotta tip your cap to him. He's an early tip of the cap nominee here this morning for the performance he put together last night. Offense doing just enough, giving him some run support there after falling down 1-0. Jackson Cheerio, Willie Adames helping out the cause there, doing just enough offensively to pick up that win. The Brewers tonight, though, they'll be seeing another pitcher making his major league debut. It's their 6th highest rated prospect right now. Their 6th highest rated prospect. That's Carlos Rodriguez. He was selected in the 6th round of the 2021 draft. Give you a little bit of a scouting report here. He's been one of the Brewers' minor league system's most reliable arms. He is a 2-time honoree as Milwaukee's minor league pitcher of the year, and he most recently shared that honor with Robert Gasser in 2023 after posting a 2.88 ERA with 158 strikeouts and 128 1/3 innings between AA and AAA. He's got, reading a little bit here on MLB.com, he takes pride in utilizing a spectrum of pitches spanning a wide range of velocities to keep hitters off balance. He throws a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer and has leaned more on the latter the deeper he's gotten in his career, despite generally sitting around 90 to 93 miles per hour. He's fiddled with a hold on his changeup and landed on a looser grip that helped the 83 to 85 mile per hour offering drop and run impressively well last year, earning his highest whiff rate. His 78 to 82 mile per hour slider gives a breaking look the other way and can earn chase against righties, and he can plop in a mid-70s curveball for another change of pace. He added an upper 80s cutter after noticing that his 4-seamer had a natural cutaway, or had natural cut anyway, to give hitters just one more thing to think about. So he's got a kitchen sink, right? He's got that kitchen sink of different pitches to pick from. But he's currently, as we mentioned, the 6th rated prospect in this Brewer system. Put it in comparison, Jacob Mizorowski, right-handed pitcher. He's their number 1 guy, but he's in AA right now. Tyler Black's their 3rd. Robert Gasser still listed on here. He's their 4th highest rated prospect on there too. So, Carlos is going to have a heck of an opportunity for him, big time moments. Major league debut. Sure, there'll be some butterflies and that, but he goes out there and he pitches well, like Robert Gasser did. I got to imagine he's probably going to get another run at the turn, through the rotation here, just with the depth issues at their pitching, with their pitching staff right now. Joe Ross having a setback. Gasser probably not coming back this year. We already know Wade Miley's done for the year. DL Hall, what's his status going to be when he does return, whenever that's going to be? Are they going to put him back in the starting rotation? Or are they going to try to work him as a long relief coming out of the bullpen? Sort of situation here. So, on one side, it's like, all right, some of these young pitchers, they're getting some some experience this year. You look at the next couple of years, this starting rotation staff looks to be, pretty darn young, with filled with some potential and filled with some talent. When you add in Robert Gasser, you add in maybe Rodriguez there. We'll see what Mizorowski looks like in a couple of years. Freddie Peralta, Aaron Ashby. Those are some names, some well-known names. There's some potential with that rotation going forward here. But love to see Carlos tonight go out there and have himself a fantastic outing and potentially earn another start through the rotation, because the Brewers need it. They just need some stability in this starting rotation, for crying out loud. They need some stability in there. Some guys that will just stay healthy and put together some solid performances out there. I mean, this is a credit to Chris Hook and Jim Henderson, the pitching coaches over there, for getting these guys prepared, for getting these guys ready. I mean, was it the graphic I think I saw last night? The Brewers are up there with the Braves for the most different starting pitchers so far this season. Not even halfway there. I think the number is going to be at 12 after tonight. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. But that's a credit to this coaching staff. That's a credit to Pat Murphy as well, getting these guys prepared and ready to go out there and perform at a high level. But it's also a credit too for this offense, for this Brewers offense, going out there and making sure they get some run support, helping out the ball club, and helping out these young pitchers or these different starters going out there, and maybe giving them some early run support, maybe kind of settling them down a little bit there. It's been a collective effort with this team. It's been a collective effort, whether it's been a Robert Gasser stepping up in big time, whether it's been the offense and different individual players who there, or unique, managerial decisions from Pat Murphy, maybe starting an opener for an inning, and then, Colin Ray coming out of the pen and preparing and going out there, or Wilson or whoever it may be. The Brewers have been kind of, going about this season winning in a bunch of different ways right now, and it's working. Give the front office some credit. Give Man Arnold and his staff some credit there too. So, but I hope Rodriguez goes out there tonight, shows his stuff, has a solid game, to where maybe he can stay with the club and be a part of that rotation going forward. And I'll keep saying this. To me, it's going to be interesting to see, because I think we all assume the Brewers are going to make a move for a pitcher by the deadline. But again, will they go for a guy, a veteran that, is just going to be a rental for the rest of the season because they're high on their youngsters for the foreseeable future and they want to give them more opportunities? Or do they try to get another pitcher that has some control, some years of control out there? Veterans probably going to be cheaper in terms of not having to give up a ton of prospects for. But would it be the better option, talent-wise, to plug into that rotation? We shall see. Brewers on the looking at the rest of the, where did it go? The rest of the rotation coming up here. Myers is going to get the other start here for the Crew. It looks like, and he's coming off of his fantastic performance last Tobias Myers last Friday, where he went 8 innings of one-hit ball. So, I mean, there's a chance. Maybe the Brewers are good with their rotation if Rodriguez goes out there and pitches well. Maybe it's Peralta, maybe it's Colin Ray, Tobias Myers, Carlos Rodriguez, and then Aaron Ashby if they bring him back up. Give him another shot. I don't know. Wait and see now. About a month and a half away from that trade deadline. All right, let's take a quick break here. We'll finish up the first hour. Keep those Badger picks coming. All right, hit me up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line so I can add them to the list here. Whoever gets the most votes. Looks like actually Nick Toon is getting quite a bit of votes over here. All right, I like it. Nick Toon, that's a solid one. Those are the type of players we're kind of looking at right now. So keep those coming. All right, hit me up with the text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to finish up the first hour after these quick words. Mobile Man Cave is going to be on the road again tonight. Big thanks to Toyson Ford, Carpet City Flooring Center, Woods and Water Realty, the Elbow Room, partners of the Mobile Man Cave. But we're going to check out some Little League playoff action tonight. It's also Miracle League's going to be going on, opening week for the Miracle League. So the Mobile Man Cave will be checking out some baseball action tonight. So we're going to be hitting or partnering up with the Card Collecting Club, and Brian with the Card Collecting Club is going to be handing out some cards to some kiddos over there, free cards to kiddos over there too. So we'll be back out on the road with the Mobile Man Cave, and we are taking your suggestions, your nominations on maybe where we should also take the Mobile Man Cave, maybe for some shows or some tailgates or some podcasts, all that good stuff. Just hit me up with an email or hit me up with a message on Facebook with your nominations over there. All right, so go ahead and do that. Hey, speaking of which, too, we are looking for I should say I'm looking for a lot of things from you. We are keep saying we, but I'm looking for some nominations for some weekend warriors. All right, weekend warriors. Whether you are playing on a slow pitch softball team, whether you just spent the weekend hiking, canoeing, whatever. All right, we all know what the definition is of a weekend warrior. I want to feature you on Mondays. All right, it's just something as simple as giving you a shout out on the air, putting a photo up on our Facebook page as part of our fan cave page over there. So hit us up. It could be something as, yeah, again, like your slow pitch softball, maybe golf, or maybe you did a little hiking or something like that, bike riding. Doesn't matter. All right, we're pretty open. We just give you a little shout out out there. Okay. Also, backyard tailgates. If you got any tips, grilling tips, barbecuing tips, anything like that, want to feature you and your picks. We got a little throwback Thursday. So if you've got maybe a team that you were a part of from the past or anything like that, where we want to highlight you for every Thursday as part of our Throwback Thursday on there too. Okay. And then Fridays, we do the for the love of the game. And that's where we want to highlight maybe some little league teams, some youth teams, youth coaches, officials out there, those who, do it for the love of the game. And we want to give them a little bit of a showcase and highlight them too. So all those details up at our website, sportstalk1051.com. And then click on the fan cave tab over there. But we want to feature you, and we want to highlight some of your stuff out there. All right. So, but I need your help. I need your help for us to be able to highlight those people out there, or teams, if you will. So, go ahead and do that. Let me know. We wanna give a little love to those peeps out there. Keep those underrated Badger picks coming. We'll get to a list coming up. We'll get you an updated list coming up a little bit later on here. Want to talk some Bucks coming up in the next hour or two. Darvin Ham is coming back to Milwaukee. Former Lakers coach, the last couple of years, was a longtime assistant for the Bucks. Before that, he's coming back to the Bucks as a lead assistant under Doc Rivers' staff with the Bucks. So we'll hit that up coming up a little bit later on here. We've got the Eau Claire Express coming up just past 8 o'clock. The Express are going to be on the road tonight in Wausau. Quick trip to the east on 29 there, taking on the Wausau Woodchucks. And then they'll be back home tomorrow night where they will face the Wausau Woodchucks there too. So another new team there for the Express taking on, as we already seen them go up against Madison and the Badlands, and now we've got Wausau on there. Then the Express are going to be on the road against Waterloo. A little bit of a revenge series coming up here for 2 games, Thursday and Friday. Back home against Duluth on Saturday, and then 2 straight games at Duluth this Sunday, Father's Day, and then on Monday. Then back home Tuesday and Wednesday, taking on the Lacrosse Loggers. So, all right, just a few minutes to the top. Don't forget, too, also, we got a lot of stuff going on. It is a Grind My Gears Tuesday. It is a Grind My Gears Tuesday. Um, hit me up with your grind my gears. What's grinding your gears? Make it appropriate so that we can say it on the air. All right. But what's grinding your gears? It's our ASAP Use Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. Always looking for some good ones out there. So hit me up with those messages too, so we can get to those coming up a little bit later on. All right. Surveyor, you're usually good for one for every couple weeks or so. So let's see if Surveyor's got a good one out there. Doesn't necessarily have to be sports related. Okay. It doesn't have to be sports related. There's something else you kind of want to spread the word on. Let us know. Right. We'll help you get it off your chest and make you feel just a little bit better over there. All right. So, okay. Let's go through some Badger lists here before Morgs pops in here. Michael Flowers was a pick. Jordan Taylor was a pick on there too. We've got Brooks Bollinger, Daryl Bevel. That's coming in from the G-Man there. So we'll get to some more coming up here in just a few minutes, but we'll finish up with Morgan. Good morning, Morgs.
Grind your gears. What about if it's not sports? What's your latest driving pet peeve? Like if you had to pick the most annoying, most recent annoying driving pet peeve.
The most recent one.
Because there's a lot of construction going on right now.
There is. Oh, with that, it's not really construction, but like if you see signs, it's kind of like going towards my house.
Mm-hmm.
If you see plenty of signs coming up saying, "Hey, lane ends, merge,"
talking about the zipper
merge,
yeah,
and then they freaking wait till the last second and try to get in there, you had plenty of notice.
Okay, now are you a let him in, or are you know what, you've done this to yourself kind of person?
If I could get away with that, I'm like, no, you can wait your turn.
Well, this is notorious, that exact thing on the interstate, because when they start to put the barrels out, and they give you lots of time to prep. The barrels are out a long time in advance. Yeah. You can see that you got to get over, and someone comes screaming up the left side to get ahead and then gets in. That screws it up for the class. That's like the one person that makes us all ruin the privileges. There's a way to do it where it works the best. Nobody loves it, but it can be tolerable if you follow the merge rule, the zipper rule, whatever.
Yes. Yep.
I was the only reason I asked is I was behind somebody. And this is one of my biggest pet peeves, but it's really hard to explain, but you know it if you're on the other end of it. If you're behind somebody and say they're turning left, but there's nothing coming, just a really slow turn. I cannot deal with slow turners. Like, are you afraid you're going to tip over? Why the slow turn? It's so aggravating.
Maybe there's something valuable in the back seats.
I try to give them there's a full glass of hot coffee, like that kind of caveat to give them some leniency. I don't think they're doing that in summer. It really for some reason, torques me off like no other. I'm pretty okay behind the wheel for the most part, but the slow turn, man, that is not my bag.
That's a good one. I don't like the over by Oakwood and Coles, where you can merge. You're supposed to keep going, that light.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody knows that light. Yeah.
And they stop.
Because it's a little intimidating because there's traffic coming at you, but it's designed that way. So where do you fall on roundabouts? Efficient or panic and confusion?
If you do it right, they're fine.
Right. But so many things in life are like that. Conceptually, it's a great idea. It's humans that mess it up or sit at a four-way stop for 3.5 days waving each other on. Like
Michael Scott told Dwight, keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly. I think that's the best rule to live by, especially behind the wheel. The other thing I saw, and this, I get it if you have a boat. I get it if you're dragging a pontoon. It's camper season. But there was somebody that just full on had one vehicle and parked horizontal across 3 spaces in the parking lot.
See, that stuff that's annoys me too. I was driving by the other day and I saw somebody at a restaurant where they took up right in the front too.
Yeah.
They pulled up to the side, they took up 3 of them. I'm like, go in the back if you're gonna do that.
But why? Yeah. It just screams a-hole. Everybody knows there's no reason to do it. Now, if you're pulling something behind you, I get it. It's different.
Right.
This is not that. This is just you're going up and you're making a choice to be a jackwagon that day, right in front of everybody.
Yep.
and you don't care who sees.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, Morgs.
Hey, I'm here to help.
1 hour in. We got a couple more to go. We'll be back after these news updates. Second hour kicking off on this Tuesday morning, June 11th. Big thanks for tuning in wherever, however you may be tuning in from. Coming up, I want to talk a little Bucks here as Darvin Ham is coming back to the sidelines for the Milwaukee Bucks. That was reported yesterday. We're going to get back to some more Brewers talk with game 2 of their series against the fighting Dalton Varsho's, the Toronto Blue Jays. Game 2 tonight. Dalton, one of the few Blue Jays who actually collected a hit last night, just 4 total hits from the Blue Jays. And Dalton being one of those. Marshall native and former Express player. Speaking of the Express, we'll be talking a little bit with the Express in a little over an hour, about an hour from now. So the Express on the road for tonight's taking on the Wausau Woodchucks. Don't forget it is a ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what's grinding your gears? Doesn't necessarily have to be sports related, but you can text those puppies on over and let us know and get it off your chest. Just make it appropriate so that that we can say it on the air. All right. Last night too, Florida taking a 2-0 lead in the Stanley Cup final. Not looking good for Edmonton and the Oilers. It was a 4-1 victory for Florida last night. So they now are up 2-0. And then in basketball, of course, we've got the Boston Celtics who are also up 2-0 in their series against the Dallas Mavericks. Next game for that though won't be until tomorrow night when the series moves back to Dallas. We are taking your most underrated Badger athletes of all time. Hit us up with those texts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912 so we can hopefully finalize the Badger region in one of our many summer projects that we're going to be doing here. But we've got the Packer region finalized thanks to all of you from yesterday who texted in, commented on the social medias. We added all your votes. This is how they're going to decide whoever gets the most votes. All right. If anybody gets multiple votes, we take the top 16 and we put them in the region. So we got a Packer region because we have enough Packer players. We should be able to have enough Badger players, whether it's football, basketball, hockey, whatever the case may be. So we're going to have a Badger region. We're going to have a Brewers region. Then we're going to have kind of an open one where we'll have some Bucks players and maybe some other athletes, whether they're, maybe Olympians or from other universities or such. So, but today we're going to finalize that Badger region. So hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have the bracket up. And then we can start to debate and vote and find out by some point this summer who voted on by you, the listeners, who is the most underrated Wisconsin sports athlete of all time. In case you missed the Packers 16 out there, we're going to do, I should say the top 16 is, where is it at? Come on. There we go. All right. Chuck Cecil. And again, no particular order. This was just whoever got the most votes out there. Chuck Cecil, Paul Kaufman, Amon Green, Frank Winters, Aaron Campman, Nick Collins, Al Harris, William Anderson, George Coons, Tremont Williams, Lynn Dickey, Tim Harris, John Brockington, Brian Williams, Ezra Johnson, and Chad Clifton. If you don't like the top 16, then you can argue with the people who nominated and voted for all those peeps out there. So we're going to get RJ Cardinals picks for some Badgers, for some Badger players coming up in the next hour and such. So, all right, Bucks wise, we've got Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham, he reportedly will be returning back to the Milwaukee Bucks as a lead assistant for Doc Rivers' coaching staff. That was first reported by ESPN and Adrian Wojnarowski. Adrian saying that he was well sought after by multiple teams out there. I got to imagine that maybe Mike Budenholzer and the Phoenix Suns were one of them, since he spent a lot of time under Mike Budenholzer and on his bench there. But Darvin Ham electing to return to Milwaukee and be a part of Doc Rivers' bench after spending the last couple of years with the with the Lakers as head coach over there. I like the move. I think it's a solid move. I think it's a solid move because one, Darvin Ham, for a lot of those guys who are still there when Darvin Ham was an assistant coach, like Giannis and Middleton and Brooke and Pat and Bobby, those guys love Darvin Ham. They have a high amount of respect for Darvin Ham. So him coming back, I think, is going to be a boost for a lot of those veterans who are going to be on this team heading into this year. It's a familiar face. It's another guy that they respect. I mean, there was a lot of talk that, would Darvin Ham, if he was still around with the Bucks when they moved on from Mike Budenholzer, or would he have been the head coach? I think there was even a quote. Was it from Bobby Portis? I just thought of this. Let me see if I can find that quote. I think it was in Mike Budenholzer's final year. Was it his final year? Yeah, I think it was his final year. Wasn't it that Bobby Portis? I think it was Bobby Portis. Don't quote me on it completely, but I think it was when they were asked, like, what is the what? Yeah, here it is. I think I found it here. What caused the Milwaukee Bucks downfall this season? This was back in 2023. Bobby Portis said the only thing that hurt us was D Ham leaving, Darvin Ham. So he had a huge impact on that team in that locker room. And this was Giannis from Darvin Ham, talking about Darvin Ham from a couple of years ago. I'm so happy for him. He's the right fit for them. He keeps it real with you, no BS at all. It's about damn time. He deserves it more than anyone when Darvin Ham was hired as the Lakers head coach. So I think this is a good hire. I like the hire. Usually we don't pay attention a lot to assistant coach hirings, maybe especially from the basketball side of things. But considering that the Bucks don't have a whole lot of wiggle room in terms of what they can do with their roster this year, free agent wise, potentially even trade wise here, this might be one of the bigger moves that they make all offseason, which maybe for some fans is pretty boring or pretty, like, ooh, that's not that great. I think it's a boost to bring him in and add him to this coaching staff under Doc Rivers because he has the familiarity with a lot of those top veterans already on the team, but also just it's a solid move in terms of bringing in an established coach who's got a little experience now as a head coach, has a little experience maybe, dealing with a lot of personalities, right? LeBron and Anthony Davis and such over there now too, but I like the move. Now, I know there was, I think it was last month in May, there was some talk, I think it was from Mark Stein, NBA insider Mark Stein, that said that that Doc Rivers really wants to bring Sam Cassell also on his staff. And Sam Cassell has been an assistant under Doc Rivers, when he was with the Clippers, when he was with the 76ers. Sam Cassell is currently with the Boston Celtics right now, so they're a little bit busy. But we'll see if that's going to still be a move that could potentially be made. Sam Cassell has been mentioned the last few years as a potential head coaching candidate, maybe still a candidate for the Lakers job over there, if it's not going to be JJ Redick. But I mean, you bring in Sam Cassell potentially, if that's still on the table. I don't know if that would still be on the table here with Darvin Ham coming over. But you bring in Sam Cassell and former Milwaukee Bucks Sam Cassell. I think we could say that there too. And adding in another guy who's very familiar with Doc's system, can help implement Doc's system throughout the entire offseason. Guy that is highly thought of in terms of could be another head or a head coach in waiting, a future head coach there. That would be a solid move too. And maybe this is where this Bucks team is kind of looking like, where can we make the biggest improvements? If we know we can't make a whole lot of roster improvements, we know we can't make a lot of additions, what's the next best thing we can do? Where else can we make some adjustments? Where else can we make some moves? Maybe it's really fortifying and really creating a top of the line coaching staff. May not be viewed by a lot of fans as the, kind of the sexy moves, if you will, the moves that draw a lot of attention and such. Maybe this is where this team kind of approaches this offseason and takes a look at, like, okay, how do we take that next step? And maybe it's because maybe they want to go with the assistant coaching role, because you look at the Celtics, and not to take away anything from Joe Mazzulla, but Charles Lee is another former Bucks assistant coach who was getting a ton of head coaching interviews the last couple of years. And Charles Lee is he's going to be the new Hornets head coach, but an assistant for Boston this year. Sam Cassell, an assistant for Boston this year. They put together a pretty darn good staff too. Senior consultant, you got Jeff Van Gundy on there. So maybe that's a route that this Boston team goes, or this Milwaukee team goes this offseason. All right, some more picks here. Michael Finley has been a very popular one. Chris Chambers has been a very popular pick here as well. Give me some basketball ones. Give me some hockey ones here too. We're looking all across Badger sports, so it doesn't just have to be football. But keep the football ones coming too. I'm not saying don't send me any football ones. You can still send me some football ones out there. But if you got some basketball ones or hockey ones, we're kind of lacking on the hockey ones here. Send those on over, or any sport at UW for Wisconsin. All right, keep them coming. Some good names here, and I'll kind of use it how we described the Packers one. So, if it's a guy that's got maybe a ton of college recognition, maybe a lot of all Big Ten teams or all American, whatever, probably not underrated. And we're trying to focus strictly on their playing career when they were at UW. So if they got a ton of accolades and a ton of recognition and a ton of hardware from their college days, probably not an underrated player. But maybe it's a player that was overshadowed, but pretty darn good, and maybe hasn't won all Big Ten team or something like that. Those are the type of plays we're kind of looking at here. Maybe a little bit harder to kind of distinguish, decide, kind of figure out between. I mean, the Packers one's maybe a little bit easier because I'm like, okay, no all pros, maybe a Pro Bowl here too. Yeah, that dude was underrated. But try to think of from that angle, maybe. Try to think of it from that angle. Like, I don't know if anybody's mentioned him, but I'm probably not putting Frank Kaminsky on there because, well, I mean, he won Player of the Year for a year, so probably not underrated. So think about it for a little bit, okay? Keep the text coming. Hit me up. Or if you want, you can also comment on the video stream, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So, all right, let's take a quick break here. But we'll get back to some Brewers chat as well coming up a little bit later on. We spent the first hour talking some Brewers, but at what point, I mean, where are you at in terms of, DEFCON what for the health of this pitching staff? Now you got Robert Gasser, who's probably done for the year. That's how Pat Murphy's operating under that assumption. He says he hope he's wrong, but that's where he's kind of at right now, that Gasser's going to be done for the year. Wade Miley's done for the year. We knew Brandon Woodruff was already done for the year. Joe Ross has had a setback. DL Hall had a setback, maybe now starting to work his way back. We got another major league debut coming up with Carlos Rodriguez tonight. What level are you at right now from like DEFCON what? Like where you're just freak on panic and mode with this whole pitching situation? And do you have the confidence level? Do you have the confidence level that Matt Arnold and this staff will make a move or maybe make a couple moves to bolster this pitching staff? Or do you think that, you know what? they may just try their hand at their youngsters and see what they got here. And just kind of continue to do some patchwork when it comes to this pitching group. Give me your thoughts, all right? We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back. We're going to switch gears up here a little bit. We'll talk a little football coming up after these few words.
Listeners' peace of mind. You should have it too. Right now, you can get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. That's simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Franzen Bank and Trust finances up north. Melissa Peterson, market president in Eau Claire here, and you owe it to yourself to work with a bank that knows cabin financing. No matter whether you're buying a seasonal cabin, lakeshore property, or building new, Franzen Bank will make it easy to turn your dream into reality. Start planning today. Find a cabin financing expert at franzenbank.com/Eau Claire. Franzen Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS number 1207375.
Get on the bus with us when Milwaukee takes on Minnesota on July 21st in Minnesota. For just $95, you will get a game ticket and round-trip motor coach transportation. Just head to wiscotrips.com or this station's website for more information and to purchase your tickets. This will be the first series for both of these teams after the All-Star break, which means the run for the postseason will start to get hot. So don't miss your chance to see these two teams in another Border Battle Classic. Get your tickets now by visiting wiscotrips.com or this station's website. So what's on Dad's wish list for Father's Day this year? Hey, listen up before you decide on another boring gift that Dad will pretend to like, but honestly, it will probably be tucked away in the closet. This Father's Day, get something for Dad that he truly wants and truly needs. That's a new deer hunting rifle or a turkey shotgun from Tilden Gun. Locally owned and operated, Tilden Gun has the biggest selection in the Chippewa Valley, and all at the best price. Sean and Hunter will also work with you to help you find just what you're looking for Dad this year. So you can either visit tildengun.com and check out their selection and order online and pick up at Tilden Gun. It's super easy to do that, by the way. Or visit Tilden Gun and chat with Sean and Hunter and let them help you find that perfect gift for Dad. And if you're not quite sure what's best for Dad, hey, they'll help you because that's the type of customer service you get from Tilden Gun. Honor Dad this year with an epic Father's Day gift from Tilden Gun. Visit them today at 12427 98th Avenue, Chippewa Falls. And don't forget to check out tildengun.com.
Service Master of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
There aren't many people as sports smart as he is, so he tries to use tiny words so people like me can easily follow along.
That doesn't make sense.
The Dan Kasper Show.
Get on the bus with us as we take in another Minnesota versus Milwaukee baseball game, Sunday, July 21st, day game 110. Just a hop or a quick hop, skip, and a jump over to the border to the west of us for just $95. That includes your game ticket and round trip motor coach transportation. You can bring some coolers on the bus too. All coolers though, just a quick note, must be small enough to fit under your seats, or they will be placed beneath the bus over there too. So don't worry about the parking. Don't worry about the driving. Leave that up to the bus driver there. Arrive in style and luxury and comfortableness and all that good stuff. But tickets are going pretty quick right now. So you want to make sure you head to wiscotrips.com or sportstalk1051.com. We got that icon up on the homepage there. Click on that. All the information you need regarding the bus trip, departure times, where to leave or where to meet up when you leave, all up there. And to purchase your tickets, you can do that right there on that website too. And remember, you have to have the Ballpark app when it comes to tickets, because tickets are now all digital over there. So tickets are going quick. So if you want to make sure for just $95 to go check out another border battle game between Milwaukee and Minnesota. And this is the first series after the All-Star break here too. So that's coming up on July 21st. And if Milwaukee continues to put up a bunch of wins throughout the rest of the season, tickets might be a little bit more expensive to go see this team in action the more they win. So now's your chance to go see it. And it's not a long trip. Just cross the border here. What, a little over hour 15, 20 and that. So not a bad little Sunday day trip over there. So let's switch gears here a little bit, talking some football. I know a few of you are chiming in about the Brewers here, so we'll get to that here in a second. Switching gears though a little bit, talking some Packer football with Joe. Joe, obviously, the last week or so, a big topic of conversation has been about the Packers' lack of number one wide receiver. I think every media outlet has had an article or a blog post about it. My question is it sustainable that, and I know Jordan Love said, it helps him and helps out the offense to not have that number one. And I get that and I understand that, but is it sustainable to have that lack of a number one wide receiver? Because, Patrick Mahomes may not have a number one wide out, but he's got a Travis Kelce. Tom Brady may not have had a number one wide out, but he always had Rob Gronkowski over there too. Do you think this is something that's sustainable for the next few years for the Packers to not have a number one target?
Yeah, it's interesting, Captain, and I think I want to point back to an article online by Bucky Brooks, an NFL analyst, and also actually a former Green Bay Packer, and he talked about that. This goes back to the Mike Holmgren days. This goes back to the Ron Wolf days, and yes, they had Sterling Sharp, but really not for the Super Bowl run and later on in Brett Favre's career. because obviously Sharp's career is shortened by that neck injury. And so you go back to the Mike Holmgren era. Now, obviously, Andy Reid is from that Mike Holmgren coaching tree. And so can you be successful if you, and I'm going to give the caveat here, can you be successful? Yes, if you have the quarterback. And that's really what it comes down to is the debate all those years was Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, who made who better. And I think it's a legitimate debate. And when you've got that quarterback, I think that quarterback can make receivers better. I think that quarterback can throw guys open. So sustainable, yes. The Chiefs are doing it. Yes, you hit it on the head. They did have that tight end, both Brady and Patrick Mahomes. They had the tight end. They didn't need the number one wide receiver. But yeah, I think again, if you look, and I'm gonna quote Ron Wolf again, the Packer way. There's just certain things the Green Bay Packers do, whether it be from the Ron Wolf tree of drafting and building a team, or from the Mike Holmgren team and tree of coaching. And so, yes, I do think you can do this. You'd like to see one of these receivers separate themselves. And so, but at this point in time, you really don't have an answer for that. And I agree with Jordan Love. It does make the defensive coordinator work that much harder to make sure that they're covering up, the dude over there on the offensive side of the ball. So yeah, I think it can be, but also I'd like to see one of these receivers start separating themselves just a little bit more.
The two quarterbacks that we mentioned there with Mahomes and Brady and their targets being tight ends. So, I mean, I guess the next question is if the Packers aren't going to have that number one, should we be focused more on Musgrave and Kraft potentially being that number one target?
Oh, no question. I think, look, I think Musgrave, the sky's the limit. I just really do. I think the sky's the limit for that young man. And I think Tucker Kraft as well. And of course, Tucker Kraft has the pec injury. And so, he's not going to be ready right away. And so, it really is Luke Musgrave's job at this point in time. But yeah, I think that's why when you look at an offense that has a tight end, and I've always been a big proponent of if you have a tight end, that opens everything else up. And so, yeah, you could see that where not in catches, and I'm going to say this, the tight end position, I don't think you're going to see Luke Musgrave or Tucker Kraft lead the Packers in receptions. But if you look at things like third down receptions and things like that, I think that's when you go to your tight end. When you're 3rd and 7 and you need a money first down, I think that's when the tight end can come into play. So yeah, there's a lot of different variables with this team, and it's going to be interesting where this offense goes because then again, you also you saw some of the clips. Josh Jacobs is going to be a big part of this receiving game, and so yeah, I think having more options is much better. But you're right, going back to that tight end position, I think you can do so much more if Musgrave becomes that guy. And again, if you're looking at a 50 catch kind of guy, 8 to 10 touchdowns, that takes the pressure off that wide receiver position.
Joe DeGuano joining us here this morning. I don't know if you had a chance to catch some of the clips yesterday with Keyshawn Nixon on with Kay Adams show up in Adams, and he was talking a little bit about Jeff Hafley and such, and he talked about how Hafley, he's not afraid in practice to challenge Matt LaFleur, and he said he's never seen maybe a defensive coordinator challenge a head coach who happens to be the offensive coordinator over there. He's not afraid to do that in practice and such. I mean, just another example of a guy who is first impressions. I still think it's kind of the honeymoon sort of phase between Jeff Hafley and this defensive staff and such. But what are your thoughts when you hear a guy like Keyshawn Nixon say, "Hey, our defensive coordinator is out there. He doesn't care who Matt LaFleur is, but he's challenging him and not afraid to challenge his boss out there"?
Yeah, first of all, the interesting thing with that interview, and I did see the interview, and Kay Adams just brings up Hafley's name, and Keyshawn Nixon just lights up. I mean, before words are even spoken, it was this incredible smile that came on Keyshawn Nixon's face, and I think it's really something when you're looking at that and you're saying, if a player lights up just at the mere mention of a coach, I think that tells you that you've got something. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. So that's the first observation I had was the fact that just mentioning his name by Kay Adams, Keyshawn Nixon lights up. So that's the first thing. Secondly, talking about challenging the offensive-minded coach. I think that's an important thing. And it's interesting that Joe Barry didn't do that. And that also points back to, Joe Barry and Matt LaFleur being very close friends. And so did that play into it as well? But, yeah, I thought that was a great interview. I thought Kay Adams did a nice job pulling some really good nuggets from Keyshawn Nixon. And so, yeah, again, lighting up when you mention his name and the fact that, yeah, you're going to challenge the head coach's offense. And going back to it, I remember having conversations with Ty Nott, who used to coach for the Packers, about what Aaron Rodgers did on the scout team. And they said offensively they would beat us up. And because of Aaron Rodgers. And I think if you're putting your best out there, I don't care if it's offense versus defense or defense versus offense. I think if you're giving that other side of the ball the best look possible, the most competitive look possible, then I think you're going to be better prepared for the games during the season and then hopefully the playoffs. So, yeah, I thought it was a great interview. And like I said, the two things that jumped out to me was – and the third thing, there was one other thing, because Keyshawn Nixon talked about kind of a changing of the guard. He said his first year in Green Bay, a lot of veterans, a lot of older guys. And then the baton was passed on, and he said it was really kind of a change and a shift in perspective from the Packer organization. So really good stuff yesterday with that interview.
You had posted up on Twitter about a couple of second-round picks for the Packers, Cooper and Javon Bullard. Who do you think is going to have the biggest impact right away?
I think it's going to be Javon Bullard. I think, he's going to be on the field. I think he's that other safety, and already they're starting to move him around a bit, playing that slot cornerback position and playing that safety. And saw a picture last week with McKinney and Alexander and Javon Bullard. And so I think it's one of those. I think he's going to be a dude. Now, cautionary tale. Darnell Savage looked great in shorts. And again, that's all you're seeing of these guys right now. So when you read the clippings or you see the clips or whatever the case may be right now, it's a little too early to be crowning these guys and to be putting them in that box that says, yeah, they're going to be a difference maker. Yeah, they're going to do this. Yeah, they're going to do that. And so, but you like the fact that you're mixing and matching, and you saw now. Again, they're putting him over the slot, and they're putting him in that role from a safety position, playing the deep safety, and they're moving him up to the line of scrimmage. And so you like what you see so far. And again, if Cooper and Bullard can be the guys, I tell you, that's the key, I think, for this defense to take that next step. You all know with Quay Walker and Xavier McKinney and Kenny Clark, those guys. But it's going to be those other guys. And Jair Alexander, it's going to be those other guys. They're going to make a difference on this defense and whether or not this team is a playoff team or a Super Bowl contender team.
Joe, when it comes to the offensive line, I was reading a little bit yesterday. I don't know if it was yesterday, maybe a couple of days ago, and obviously with analytics and stats, and one of them was, Sean Ryan, the run percentage was more successful with Sean Ryan as a starting guard over there. And obviously, I think we all know he's going to get a shot to win this, but if it is where Sean Ryan opens up the season as right guard and Zach Tom's at right tackle, I mean, is it a possibility that Jordan Morgan is not in that starting lineup? And if so, how big of a concern is that? Or is it, not that big of a concern because it's his rookie year?
Yeah, it's not a big concern because I think you're always going to need offensive line depth. That's a position where you just need to continue to restock the shelves. And I think that's really kind of my biggest thing and my biggest takeaway is, look, you're going to have an injury. And if Morgan doesn't crack that starting five to start the season, I am okay with that. And that means, again, that objectively the Packers thought that their best five, quote unquote, did not include him. So, yeah, I'm not concerned at all. If he is the guy or not. And again, I just think during the year happen and you're going to need that sixth guy coming in off the bench. And if you're true to your statement of the best five, then you put him in wherever he's going to be the best fit. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle. And I think I love the way Rasheed Walker has stepped up. Love what LaFleur's saying about him. Morgan's already getting moved around, so they're already playing with the possibilities that, look, he may be best five, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's your left.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, again, not concerned at all. Make it a position of strength rather a position of weakness. And to quote Russell Wilson, get that best five and let's ride. And I think that's the mentality you have to have from an offensive line standpoint.
And it'd be kind of something, similar to 2010, right? When Brian Bulaga didn't open up the season as a starter. He was a first-round pick, and Mark Tauscher got hurt, and then rest is history for Brian Bulaga's career after that.
Absolutely. That's a great correlation and a great example of you just need those guys. And whether or not Morgan starts the year as a number one, but I guarantee you he's going to see the field. Something's going to happen somewhere along that offensive line where someone's going to miss a few games, and you're going to need again that guy to come in and be a player and make a difference. So yeah, doesn't concern me at all. I will say this: I think the second, going back to Cooper and Bullard, I think the second round for the Green Bay Packers is a more important round looking at the players they got than the first round. And I'm not saying that dissing on Morgan at all. It's just he might not crack that starting lineup, whereas the two defensive guys taken in the second round, I think they need to start.
Do you think it's fair to wrap it up here really quick? Do you think it's fair when it comes to the draft, first round, I mean, great talent. I mean, those are the better players, best players out there, but maybe some of those guys you're drafting a little bit based more on potential, whereas second and third round, those guys are maybe a little bit more ready to play right away as compared to some of the first round picks?
I think it depends on where you're picking in that first round. So if you're picking in the 20s, like Green Bay did, I think you're probably looking at potential a little bit more and maybe filling a need a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's a good observation, but I don't think you can make that a black and white statement. I think if you're drafting top 15, I think you're looking for a guy, a difference maker right away. If you're drafting bottom 15, where most scouts and most talking heads on TV say, the draft is strong 1 through 14 or 1 through 15, and then 16 to 45 is the same. And so I think there's probably a little bit of that into that, but again, I think it depends on where you're drafting in the first round and what your second round looks like. But I think Green Bay, they're going to need that second round, as I said in my tweet, to be second to none, because I think both of those guys need to come in and make a difference.
Mm-hmm. He's Joe DeGuano joining us this morning, chatting a little green and gold. Appreciate the time as always, sir. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll catch up with you again next week. And have a good Father's Day weekend, bud.
You too, and happy Father's Day to all the listeners out there, et cetera, and hopefully it is a wonderful day for all the dads out there. So, and again, always appreciate Tuesdays. Makes my day, Captain. You have a great one.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll talk with you again soon. There's Joe DeGuano joining us for a little bit this morning. We're going to take a quick break and wrap up the second hour. Just flying on by on this Tuesday morning. See, getting the days mixed up. Tuesday morning. All right. Don't forget, send us your Grind My Gears Tuesday. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Owner Craig Toyson from the Eau Claire Express will be joining us just past 8 o'clock for our Eau Claire Express updates, as the Express will be hitting the road tonight to take on the Woodchucks of Wausau, and then the Wausau Woodchucks will be visiting Carson Park tomorrow night. So we'll catch up with Mr. Craig Toyson coming up just past 8 o'clock this morning. Gonna have to call you Richie from Wanakee now. Richie chiming in on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen text and line saying day one listening from Wanakee. Richie, poor timing too. We got stickers, by the way. We got car stickers. Some of those. I think you can put them on the tumblers. I mean, if they go on a car, they should be able to go on a tumbler, right? If you got one of those tumblers out there. So I got some stickers if people want any. We're gonna, some show stickers out there. Anybody want one? Maybe I'll throw some in the mail if you want one to represent the program on your vehicle or such. So just got them yesterday. They're pretty sweet looking. I just put one on my tumbler this morning and such. But let me know, and maybe if maybe I'll throw some in the mail. We'll have some in the mobile man cave to pass out and such too. So got to represent Wanakee there, Richard. Just saying. So. All right. What else do we got? Catching up on a couple of other texts here. Tyler saying, I don't expect the Brewers to trade for a top pitcher, but for sure get one or two average guys to eat innings. Our strength is the bullpen. Yeah, I don't think they'll trade for a star or a top guy. And I don't know who necessarily that would be. Like, there's not that CC Sabathia out there, right? There's not that guy that's out there right now. But one guy who's going to get just absolutely paid, and we knew he was going to absolutely get paid in the offseason, but what he's doing this year is probably really solidifying that, or maybe even going to get a little bit more coin. Corbin Burns, in his last 4 starts, this is from MLB Stats, in his last 4 starts, 4-0 with a 1.09 ERA against the AL East, his division right now, 4-1 with a 1.13 ERA. This season, the guy is 7-2 with a 2.08 ERA. Corbin Burns is on fire in fuego right now. He is going to get a massive contract. I'm really curious to see what it's going to cost to get Corbin Burns to sign up with the team next year. What's that number going to be? It's got to be astronomical. It's got to be huge. So, man, dude's off to a fan. He'd be great with the Brewers right now, right? But then, where would the Brewers be without Joey Ortiz too? Would it be different? How different would this team be if Corbin Burns is on there and maybe not a Joey Ortiz? I don't know. Maybe that's a topic for another day. But Joey Ortiz, he's having a good year. Probably not going to win NL Rookie of the Year, but he's top 5 in odds on. Corbin Burns, I got to imagine he's up there in terms of Cy Young recognition in the American League right now. So, Brewers tonight, game 2. Going to try to at least secure a series win tonight against the fighting Dalton Varshows of the Toronto Blue Jays. First pitch is going to be around 7:10 tonight. You can catch that on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Brewers picking up a 3-1 win last night. Colin Ray was fantastic, going 7 strong innings, just giving up 3 total hits, 1 earned run on a solo shot a little bit earlier on. But again, this nugget here from Adam McCulvey when you're talking about Colin Ray's performance last night. He threw 7 innings of 1-run ball after starting the first 2 hitters with ball 1. He threw 21 straight first pitch strikes. Then the bullpen, Joel Payamps and Trevor McGill extended that streak to 28 straight first pitch strikes last night. Throwing strikes, baby. Throwing strikes. So, just a fantastic performance from Colin Ray last night. Obviously, we would love to see him continue to do that. Odds are Probably not going to have a lot of performances like last night going 7 innings, but hey, I guess never say never at this point. So, but we're going to see Carlos Rodriguez get his debut tonight for the Brewers. Another young prospect ranked number 6 in the Brewers farm system. He's going to get a start tonight. Hopefully he can kind of make a similar start to what Robert Gasser had when he was called up and made his debut this year. And then maybe he'll stick around in the starting rotation. And one thing that is hopefully different than Robert Gasser is that hopefully Rodriguez can stay healthy and pitch the rest of the season. In case you missed it from yesterday or when we talked about it in the first hour, Robert Gasser, Pat Murphy's operating under the assumption that he's done for the year, that Robert Gasser is going to be shut down and done for the year. He is getting another opinion, which would be the third opinion on his elbow. And if you're wondering why another opinion on there, because, well, one of the opinions out there is having surgery on his elbow, which I'm assuming Robert Gasser does not want to have, but maybe for the best. Reading a little bit from Brewers.com, he's gotten a couple of different opinions. The initial assessment was that Robert Gasser could recover from rehab, but a second opinion from Dr. Neil L. Trotch, which Dr. Croa has mentioned his name a few times on our Inside the Training Room on Friday mornings, said he's also one of the foremost orthopedic surgeons in the country, said that Robert Gasser should consider reconstructive surgery for his UCL. And it says here it's complicated because Robert Gasser has already spent some time on the injury list, had some bone spurs in his elbow that was putting stress on his UCL. It's not torn. But really, I guess the surgery, from my understanding, would be that it would just make it, stronger. It's kind of weak right now. Just try to strengthen that. So, getting a third opinion. Just saying, Robert Gasser, maybe you should reach out to our good buddy Dr. Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Yeah, just if you want a third opinion, reach out to our good buddy Dr. Crow. He'll get you. He'll get you down. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off here in about a minute or so. Coming up, we'll talk some Brewers. We'll talk some Express with owner Craig Toyson from the Eau Claire Express. After that, RJ Cardinal will be joining us. We've been collecting your athletes, most underrated athletes. We've got this summer project that we're working on. We've got the Packers region set. We're working on the Badger region today. A lot of you texting in with your names, with your athletes. We're going to get a few names from our own Badger analyst, Mr. RJ Cardinal, coming up towards the bottom of the hour too. So we've got 2 in. We got 1 more to go. Stick around. We'll be back after these quick news updates. Final hour on this Tuesday morning, June 11th. Big thanks for making us a part of your start. Whether you're listening on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online, worldwide, sportstalk1051.com. You got the app, video streams up and rolling. Big thanks for tuning in. We're going to catch up with RJ Cardinal at the bottom end of the hour. Talk a little Badgers with him. We begin this hour like we do every Tuesday, though, in the summer, catching up with our good friends from the Eau Claire Express, and donned in his Express gear is owner Craig Toyson. Whose jersey was that from last year?
This is Joe York's a couple years ago. So
Okay.
he was kind of one of my boys' all-time favorites. So
Nice.
I don't know how the Swartos family feels about that I took Joe's jersey, but it's one that fits me. There's not a lot of
Right.
players that have the same size as.
Hudsey's got the black one for DQs last year hanging up on his wall right now because it's a little too big for him.
It won't take him long to grow into that one, but I just want to show that our last year's uniforms, actually we wore in the last 4 or 5 years, are for sale in our pro shop. That we're selling those off as we got new uniforms this year, and we might continue to change it up every year or so just to keep it fresh and fun new stuff, and sell the old ones that people can have as mementos.
Yeah, when we were in there, I don't know if it was maybe a host family, but they were looking for both. I think it was number 31s over there from last year, but they were like trying to grab all those over there too. So Hudson had to sneak in there to make sure they didn't grab number 3. So, but well, I mean, last night falling a bit short, late innings there for Waterloo, but looking at the division, it's kind of outside the top. Thunder Bay, I mean, they're at the top right now, but then it's like almost anybody's ball game, it seems like.
Yeah, and I don't want to think the Thunder Bay is walking away with it yet, because it's a long season. The Canadian teams always start out tough because it's just tough to get going across the border there. We'll get settled in, and we'll get our full-time guys start to get in here a little bit better, and the pitching will settle down, and we'll come after them a little bit. But it's been a tight start to the season so far. Not a lot of teams playing poor baseball right now. So, it's just been a challenge. It's been a lot of fun, though. A lot of tight games.
Is that a popular question that you get a lot? Is if all the guys are in town yet? Do you get that quite a bit?
Yeah, we talk about that quite a bit. I think the last ones really to roll in will be this Monday, Tuesday, as the guys from Stanford start to get here. Cole Selvig came from last night from University of Texas. So fun to see him get his debut. Really pitched well. Had a couple calls, didn't go his way, and then that got compounded with a home run late there, but pitched well. I thought he looked good. It's fun to see him here in town. And Oregon State, unfortunately, got eliminated from the College World Series or the Super Regionals, so we should see Evan Gustafson coming pretty soon. So then just about everybody will be here. We'll always get a couple late signings that we can get to come play, and there's always some movement. There's guys in transfer portal that have to take off and go do things and check things out. But excited to get the full timers here, and they're crushing the ball right now. A lot of offense. Yeah. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like the home run ball is kind of a thing right now.
Yeah, something we haven't seen much of the first couple of years that I've been involved. It's been a lot of small ball and manufacturing runs, and this year it's doubles to the gaps, and we've hit the ball out of the park a little bit, which has been fun to watch. And Owen Washburn's come in and hit well, and Briggs Richards has been on fire, and local guy Gabe Richardson's hit really well too. So it's been a lot of fun to watch the ball this year.
Yeah, it gets those kids active to go fetch those home run balls.
They're always going, yeah.
Right.
We added the sound clip this year from Finding Nemo of the seagulls going, moin, moin, moin.
Yeah.
So that's going to every time there's a foul ball, because that's kind of what it is like watching.
It is exactly. Going back to our to the sports talk night when you guys had the Badlands, which again offensive game for that night, that Friday night.
Oof, that was a lot of offense.
Yeah. But I ran into it was interesting because you said the owner was in town, and you were he wanted to check out the stadium, which I thought was kind of cool to make that trip in, and he wanted to check out Carson Park. And then Sammy last week was telling me a player was looking for tickets because he wanted his parents to come over and check out Carson Park.
Yeah, and that's awesome to see, and it's a real testament to what Carson Park is and what the city of Eau Claire has built here. And we've talked ad nauseum about the things we still want to do and what we need to get done, but that grandstand is unbelievably cool and historic, and the conversations we've had about right field and what the fan deck is, and what we've built out in left field with the Whipley zone is more of a casual area for fans, that we can grow the casual fan aspect of our game. It's been really great to hear feedback from people outside of Eau Claire, outside of the Express, that it's a cool place to see and they want to come check it out. So yeah, I'm really appreciative that he came out, and he was checking out a couple other stadiums while he was here, but some of the players' parents have stuck around this early season as they get settled in and to check out the stadium. And it's been fun to hear the feedback from them about what a great environment is, what a great culture it is. So really, really proud of that and glad that Eau Claire showcasing itself well.
Absolutely. Have you started to see some of the personalities? I know we're a couple weeks into the season. Obviously when these guys are first on a team, maybe it kind of gets adjustment and getting used to each other. Have you started to see some of the personalities maybe come out?
Starting to and more in the competitive edge at this point that the guys want to win. I haven't seen our host player that we're hosting has not arrived yet, so we're still empty nesters other than my own annoying kids. so I haven't been as connected to this group of guys and this team quite the same way as I had been last year, but they're competitive guys. It looks like a great group of guys. We had a great post-game festivity at Valley Burger the other night, and it was fun to get all the guys there together and let them talk with their host families and other fans there. And so it's been a lot of fun to see them come together. It's a good group of guys.
Right, absolutely. And then tonight, you guys are going to be on the road with one of those new teams, with the Wausau Woodchucks.
Yeah, if you got nothing going on tonight, Wausau is worth a visit for their baseball stadium. Mark McDonald, the owner over there, is a great guy, and he's taken a ballpark. I think the original footprint is like 1911. It's really an old stadium, tight fit into that neighborhood, and he's built the stadium up, and it's really a cool field, cool stadium. He's done a great job with it. It's a fun place. I've been to a couple games there, and I unfortunately I can't go tonight. I got Little League playoffs, and that trumps everything. So I will not be there tonight, but hoping to go later in the month when we play them again.
It's kind of cool because I was telling you off the air. So Hudson's team is going to be one of the featured teams tomorrow night at the Express game for Little League, which the Woodchucks are coming to town for that game. My team,
this
the
is your
Willow
team. Yeah, I mean, you better show up wearing orange. I'm a little worried.
It's kind of weird because when I was with the shout out Whittlesey Lions Little League, our team was featured at a Woodchucks game, so it was like kind of the cool parallels.
Come full
to
circle.
That. Yeah. So Hudson's first time his team being featured is going up against the Woodchucks.
We can only hope this league still exists when Hudson has kids of his own.
Hey, we don't need to talk about that. That's a ways down the road, man. I don't want to be a grandpa yet. That's so. But when you look at the first couple of weeks of the league, maybe not just the Express overall, but when you look at the league overall, these first couple of weeks, has anything kind of stood out to you in terms of maybe a team or a couple teams really jumping out, or just anything that maybe us casual fans don't notice, but maybe an owner of a team kind of notices?
Sure. I really think it is great to see Thunder Bay play well. And, it's been a tough road for that franchise. And I think if people knew the backstory of how rough it was over COVID for them, just with the lack of being able to travel across the border. And they basically shut down for 2 years. So it was really, or 3 years actually. So it's really been tough for them to get back up and running, and you got to have a strong appreciation for what that team meant to that town, that they kept at it and kept working at it. And to see the success they had this year is really great. I don't want to have them have any more success against us, but so that's been really a great story, and rooting for them when they're not playing us.
Yeah.
St. Cloud struggled a little bit this year, which is kind of a surprise because they're always a really good team. That's just and Bismarck's come out guns a-blazing this year, which has not been a typical thing. So fun to watch. Welcome Badlands into the league. It's just you never know how when a team is built from scratch, or not built from scratch in this case, moved into the league, but not used to the way things are done in the Northwoods League. To see them be as competitive as they have been has been good to see. And Waterloo's had a couple down years, so to see them kind of bounce back is nice too. And it's nice for the cities that we all kind of take our turns winning games here and there. I still like to win some more. So
right,
it's been kind of a weird up and down season. We've never been more than 2 games over 500, never been more than 1 game under 500, and we're 500 right now. So like to continue to get back on our winning ways here.
Right. Going back to tomorrow night's game, it's also Tyler's Amazing Balancing Act,
and he's awesome.
Yes, if you have not checked him out, tomorrow night would be a good time to go check that out.
Challenge him. He wants any weird thing he can balance. So if you get something weird to bring for him, he is and it's like, well, what's the guy balance a rake? It's like, sure, but the way he engages fans, he is about as entertaining as an actor coming to the town as possible. In fact, my son has it's a Ripley's Believe It or Not book that he was going through there tonight, and there's Tyler's Amazing Balancing Act featured in that book. So he plans on bringing the book tomorrow, get him to sign it, and then
we'll
put a rubber band around and see if he can balance that on his nose or chin too. So he's a great act and a great guy. So
awesome. And then on the 15th, Cancer Survivor Day. Coming up on June 15th, which should be kind of an emotional one too, but a great event. I know Sammy kind of talked about it a little bit last week.
We've
too.
Every one of us has been touched by cancer in some way, and we've made some great strides in treatments and plans for that, and excited for what the future continues to hold in cancer treatments. But it's touched us all, and I think we need to honor those who have gone through the process and come through the other side. So hoping a lot of people come out for that night that we can celebrate.
Absolutely. Just kind of looking ahead. I know we got Country Night sponsored by our sister station, Wax 104.5, coming up a week from today too. So that'll be.
I'll have to get the dust off my cowboy hat. So,
yeah. Did you busted it out for Yellowstone night? I think last year.
I think I did. Yeah. So Country Night again. We'll try it again. Yeah.
I like that, man. So, Whiffley Zone. It seems to be. I mean, we've been there a few times, and it seems to be a popular place over there too. For a lot of fans. So
it's been great. We have seen people go down there for their pregame kind of happy hour. We've seen people go down there and just kind of relax during the game. We've got glasses of wine down there, so we've seen people gather around the fire pits, and we've actually started serving some Rocky Rococo's pizza out of there last night, and that one here. But food trucks on Friday nights have been awesome. We had Lunchbox last Friday. Bands on Saturday. We had Lassos and Lace last week, and this upcoming Saturday we're home again. We've got Uncommon Denominator, which is, if anybody's seen them play, they are an event to watch. If you've been to a wedding in the Chippewa Valley, there's a good chance you've seen them perform at one of them, and they're fantastic. So excited to have that concert Saturday night, and get a lot of people there to enjoy some music.
Yeah. Hey, did I see too? An alum was picked up by the Twins, or a contract selected by the Twins the other day too.
Yeah,
your Twinnies?
It was Matt Helwig, who was our closer for the last 2 years. Who I think my dad is the president of the Matt Helwig fan club. So he pitched for us, pitched really well. For whatever reason, did not get drafted. I was shocked by it because I just thought he came in so many big game situations and pitched his way out of them and pitched so well. I've never felt so confident as when he was on the mound pitching in big games for us. We had a lot of big games the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And he didn't get drafted, but stuck with it, pitched with the Schaumburg Bombers, which is an independent league team, and just had his contract sold to the Twins. So he will be reporting to minor league ball there, and hopefully working his way up like a lot of guys are right
That's
now.
awesome. Yeah. And speaking of alum, I mean, obviously Dalton Barshow's in Milwaukee right now with the Blue Jays playing that, and Hudson's kind of starting to learn a little bit more. I've been kind of teaching. He's like, oh, that's the Express, and I'm like, well, it's the manager's nephew, that sort of stuff. But it's so cool too when you go to Carson Park, the new banners you guys got out there with those big banners of the alum players out there. That almost provides a little bit more to the atmosphere. Like, wow, that guy played there, or that guy played. We all know Hank Aaron, obviously, but to see those other guys too with the Express, those are some sweet banners out there.
Yeah, those were done through Resonance, and I so appreciate the work that they've done with that, because they look fantastic. And so we always had Cole Calhoun and Jordan Zimmerman's the last couple of years. We got new banners for them, added Dalton to it, and then added Griffin Jackson, who's been pitching really well for the Twins. And it's impressive to see how these guys grow, because they come here. Not a lot of guys throw more than like 92, maybe 93 when they're here. Would kind of be the top. There's occasionally you'll see guys in the mid 90s, but Griffin's added quite a good fastball to the mix, and really good stuff, and been an effective pitcher for the Twins. And it's really fun to watch as alumni throughout the big leagues, and then especially this time of year to watch some of those college guys that have played for us have big inning situations. I was just up watching University of Kentucky knock off Oregon State the other night, and Robert Hogan, who pitched for us last year, came in and pitched the 7th, 8th, and the 9th innings for Kentucky to help get that game secured and send them to the College World Series. Cool thing, now my son is going to Omaha on Wednesday, and they will be watching NC State and UK play in the College World Series that day. So I mean, it'll be on Saturday, whatever day it would be, they'll be playing. So it's just awesome to see those alumni have great success. And he's got another teammate who played for the Express too. So we got guys all over the baseball.
That's awesome. And speaking of pitching too, it's the other night I was out there and watching the kids interact with your bullpen, just hearing the kids like ask questions. How do you hold your slider? Or what's your grip for that? And the players helping them out with that. I thought that was, I don't know if it's a dad part of me or anything like that, but just see those players like answering those kids' questions, and those kids having that chance to just kind of reach over and say, hey, how do you grip for that slider? I thought that was a cool thing to
That's
kind
good.
of
Yeah,
witness.
and I appreciate the guys are always really excited to talk to kids. I don't know if they get that as much at the college game. So to come here and be around the kids is really a lot of fun, especially post games. We've had a couple of late games the last couple of nights, so it's been a challenge to get kids there late for autographs. But when we've got those games that do cruise by in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, we've got a lot of kids there after the game, and they are interacting with the players, and the players are great that way. I hope their first answer back is, well, how old are you? Maybe you shouldn't be throwing a slider.
Right.
but it's fun to talk about. And I think anytime we can pass that love of baseball down to the next level, it's just going to continue to grow our game in the Chippewa Valley. And that's my ultimate goal with this is let's get more kids excited about baseball.
I know you guys got some new stuff coming to the pro shop too, because Sammy gave me the heads up a couple days ago. Got the pennants in. So we got to add a pennant to the mobile man cave to our list over there. So
it's been a cool start to the spring or summer here, I should say. So the games have started out nice, and then it's gotten cool in the evening. So we've had a nice run on sweatshirts, which means we've had to reorder some more sweatshirts, and those will be coming in this week. So I don't know if we'll have them all stocked up by Wednesday, but I'm hoping by our next game are we home Friday or Saturday? Home on Saturday. That will be stocked up, ready to go again. So,
right. So lots of good swag in there, because if you got a kid's birthday coming up, be prepared. That's what we do with Hudson over there, because he's like picking out these different hats and obviously the jersey and that.
Yeah, new game hats in the pro shop too. We got a little bit of blue in it this year.
Yeah. Is that something you're gonna stick around with Little Blue, or is it just kind of a trial basis this year?
Blue's kind of my go-to color, which is a little dangerous in the Chippewa Valley. You never know if you're gonna irritate somebody who wears purple or somebody who wears red or green, but I think blue and orange have gone well together. I think it's been a nice little accent color, so I think we'll continue to work that in. And we have it in our Saturday uniforms that we have the blue Chippewa Valley jerseys. It's been a fun change of pace, and we are working on updating some looks for next year. So excited about the potential on that. We're still in the kind of the pencil drawing stage at this point, but it's starting to come together, and excited about what that might look like and what things we can release in the next year.
Because that's kind of a big thing, like with minor league baseball and baseball at this level too, right? It's all about, kind of the swag and logo designs, because I think more than any other sport, you're looking at those minor league teams or summer ball teams, like especially for the younger fans, like, oh, that's a cool logo or that's a cool name or something like that. We see that a lot with the Northwoods League too.
Yeah, I think the promotions have gotten a little wackier over time, which is great. It adds to the fun of what minor league baseball is and should be. And I think that all started with Mike Veck over, and actually his dad probably Bill Veck, way back. But what Veck has done with the Saints, and obviously now that they're tied with the Twins, it's a little different that they don't get some of that wackiness the way they once did. But off the wall promotions and different goofy things are always fun. We just want to make sure that we're respecting the baseball side of it, because I see like night baseball, glow in the dark baseball, and banana ball. It's great, but that's Harlem Globetrotter stuff. I appreciate it. It's got its place. That's not what we are, but we can also make sure that we can make everything that surrounds the game a lot of fun too. So it's fun to kind of brainstorm and think about what ideas are, and fans bring ideas all the time, and some of them we've gone forward with, and I'm always glad to hear that stuff. So
maybe it's too early, but have you seen any other? Because you talked about it, you go to other games and you kind of get ideas and inspirations from maybe other event or other game or other teams and such. I don't know if you've been able to check out some of the other games as much, but have you gotten maybe like an idea from like, oh, I didn't know they did that, but that's kind of a cool idea? Or is it still kind of early in the season to
it's still a little early in the season for some of that. I do take stuff in the off season. We've worked hard to kind of revamp some of our music, and some of that I've just taken the ideas from other broadcast teams that I've watched and taken stuff in from. So try to keep it fresh, and a lot of people see one game a year and that's it, and that's fine. But we have a lot of people that do come to 10, 15 games, or host families come to 30 games, and I my wife, God bless her, comes to probably 30, 35 games a year. So want to make sure we're keeping it fresh and change it up. We can't have the same thing every night in and night out. So but yeah, we want to make sure that we're having a good time and helping build the sport.
All right. The Express again on the road tonight, not far, just a little east on 29 there to Wausau, and then the Woodchucks come over tomorrow night. Reminder, 2 Wednesday nights, Buck night too. So that's a big draw over there.
And I got to give a quick shout out. Saturday night, our PA system went out, which was awful. It sounded like 1,000 cicadas were going through the system. So we had to shut it off for a while. When a couple of called Audio Architects, and they came out Saturday night at like 9 o'clock. Took a look at it, got us running the rest of the game, and then came out Sunday morning at like 9 a.m. again, got us up and running for the game. So, I mean, awesome customer service.
Heck yeah.
You don't realize how much the PA system adds to a ball game. So to not have that was awful, but appreciate the work they did for us.
You got to get Pete to get those vocals a little louder or something,
Yeah, we can try. So. It's like the old Roman days of just thumbs up, thumbs down. So
right.
that's kind of what it felt like for a while there.
Yeah, awesome. That's a good story. Thank you to Audio Architects for
Yes,
that. Spit it out
appreciate their help.
there. So, well, Craig, appreciate it as always. Always
Thank
love it
you.
when you get to come in and chat a little baseball with us. So, again, get your tickets. Check out the Woodchucks. I mean, again, this is a new team, so if you haven't seen the Woodchucks, or maybe if you're like me, a little throwback to our youth. If you're from Central Wisconsin,
Wisconsin Woodchucks back then.
Wisconsin, exactly. So, check them out, and then I know we got a game on Saturday too, as well. So, Craig, appreciate it as always, buddy.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll talk some Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal, not Mallards, coming up after these quick words.
Ounce hams on tap in a frosted mug, they've got me covered. And our go-to food choices are the grilled cheese with ham, the wings with homemade sauces, the BOGO burgers, or the Friday night fish fry. Heck, I'm there so much I even told the new owners I should have profit-sharing options. So if you're looking for that bar where everyone truly does know your name, it's time to make a Corton House appearance. Corton House, downtown Eau Claire, Grand Avenue. Tell you what, if you see me there the next time you go out, let me know. Your first one's on me.
You're ready for a perfect summer on the lawn, but all these weeds and brown spots are totally killing the vibe. It's time to call True Green. Save some green this summer with our limited time offer. One free application with an annual plan. So all you have to do is water, mow, and enjoy that perfect lawn. Hurry. Offer ends June 18th. Visit truegreen.com for the best lawn at the best price. Guaranteed. Restrictions apply.
When it comes to protecting those that matter most, you need a home security system you can trust. Thanks to SimpliSafe, you can finally rest easy at night. With advanced security technology and a customer-first approach, SimpliSafe is our highest recommended security system. SimpliSafe is backed by 24/7 professional monitoring, guarding your home with sensors and cameras to protect your family from outside threats. With 24/7 LifeGuard, agents act within 5 seconds of receiving an alarm and take immediate actions to protect you. They can see and speak to intruders inside your home, stopping them in their tracks. SimpliSafe doesn't require a long-term contract. They earn your business every day by keeping you safe. SimpliSafe has given so many listeners peace of mind. You should have it too. Right now, you can get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. That's simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Don't get bullied into accepting a personal injury settlement that isn't fair. At By Goff and Rohde, they know reputation is important and it can affect your case's outcome. If you want your case to be taken seriously, you need lawyers who are taken seriously. They've had your back for 50 years and they've got your back now. By Goff and Rohde, serious injuries need serious lawyers. Call 800-607-3030 or online at buygoff.com.
Fire up the grills and smokers. It's grilling season, Wisconsin. Whether you're a charcoal or gas griller, or you prefer a pellet grill or smoker, you still need to use the best cuts and quality meats. And you can find that at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From high quality steaks to many flavors of brats, Mike's Star Market has something for everyone. So if you're inviting friends and family over to show off your barbecuing skills, make sure you take advantage of a great teammate in Mike's Star Market and their lineup of quality meats. Mike's Star Market, deliberately old-fashioned to assure quality and affordability.
Do you know of anyone who needs some help chasing their dreams and passions? Backyard Dreams wants to help. Email us at info@sportstalk1051.com so we can help.
Huge thanks to owner Craig Toyson for the Eau Claire Express for joining us this morning. If you missed any portion of that conversation or you want to check it out again, make sure you check out the All Aboard the Eau Claire Express podcast. We'll put that up later on this morning. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the All Aboard the Eau Claire Express podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Switching gears here just a bit. So we're going to talk some Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal from the Zone in Madison. And RJ, I know we've been looking for our underrated Badger players here, and I want to get a few names from you here in just a sec. But I actually want to lead off talking a little Badger basketball because the Badgers the last couple days picking up some recruits and even an international recruit, a 19-year-old from Serbia? I
who's
believe
been playing pro ball.
Yes.
Anders Vukovic or
yep.
Andrija
or something like that.
Andrija, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it pans out. It's one of those cases though. It's a 19-year-old playing in a men's league, like one of the top leagues in Serbia, apparently. So we'll see how that transitions over here. But I think that's kind of a move we might be seeing in some recruiting to fill spaces as well, due to the style of ball is apparently, like we were talking last year, shifting more towards an international / Golden State Warriors style of basketball from what we're used to seeing. So maybe it's going to start turning into the kind of thing where we see if we can't get a recruit or a transfer, we start seeing international. It sounds weird to say international signings, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And we'll see where that goes. But it's height. Guy looks a little bit like a string bean, but we'll see how it pans out if he can fill out and be a Big Ten player.
And that's kind of what I was going to ask you. Do you think this is and Greg Gard, I think, kind of alluded to it, the other day about, kind of maybe focusing a little bit more on recruiting internationally. And is that a byproduct of what you kind of alluded to with the style, but also maybe trying to expand that recruiting pool because of NIL and such? And how much do you think Kirk Penny has a play in this too with his connections overseas?
Oh, the other one was the new coach they hired too. Apparently has connections overseas as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they do move forward. And if you're having a hard time playing ball the way everybody else can, you have to find a different niche out there. So if it ends up being international players, great. It's worked wonders for Gonzaga for a while, where, I mean, most of their guys were a mixture of kids from the Pacific Northwest and international players that got them to where they were because they were looking for an opportunity in the United States to play basketball, get an education, and landed at Gonzaga. And now Gonzaga's on the map. If it can turn into something like that, we'll see what happens. I'm not saying Wisconsin's not on the map, but if you can, like I said, if you can find a niche that helps you fill a need, why not at least try it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of recruits, but switching over to football here in just a sec. Sounds like the Badgers picked up another tight end or another solid recruit for their 2025 rooting class. Tight end Davis coming over. He's from Indianapolis, it looks like.
I missed that one. Did this happen yesterday? I was at a golf outing.
Oh, you and your golf outings, man.
I know, right?
But no, here. All right, I'll tell you a little bit about
him. Yeah, you're breaking it down for me.
All right. 6'5" tight ends. He racked up offers from Cincinnati, Duke, Illinois, Louisville, Michigan State, and West Virginia. And then he apparently, it says here, from rivals that the Badgers pulled out a pledge before officials to Kansas and Purdue over here. So another addition to this 2025 class, RJ, that seems like is getting a lot of attention right now for this Badger football team.
Yeah, and it seems to be growing by the day, which not a bad thing. I think before this they're up to 13th, so I don't know if this will end up changing that at all. But yeah, this class ever since official visit season started, I mean, what they've added 4 kids now, and it's like we've talked before. Like, sure, not having a recruiting department hurt, and when I say that, most people think they just didn't have anybody. They had the position coaches be the recruiting department, which in this day and age you can't do. We've found out. But when people get on campus here, they do see that their perception of Wisconsin as a whole, is the farm fields that people always talk about, where then they get to Madison and they put you up at the Edgewater, which is right on the lake. You're just a mile, you're walking distance down to the union, the student union. You see that it's not what it looks to be, and then your driving distance to Milwaukee, Chicago, and Minneapolis, and everybody, it turns into, oh, well, this is not exactly what I thought I was going to be walking into, and they fall in love with the place. So it's more so the campus and the campus setting that really gets a lot of people hyped about Wisconsin when they come to Madison.
Also, too, just kind of a little nugget that I saw just a couple hours ago, but it sounds like both the Badger hockey teams, men's and women's team, next year are going to be playing at Wrigley Field, RJ, for a little outdoor games over there.
Oh, they're participating in the because the Blues and Blackhawks are playing there, so that's cool. Were the opponents announced or just?
It says here, this is from Badger Extra. Both Wisconsin hockey teams are part of a Big Ten endeavor focused on playing games at Wrigley Field after the NHL Winter Classic. Says here the conference hasn't announced details, but the plans being discussed, sources said, include 3 Big Ten hockey games and 1 women's hockey contest involving Wisconsin and Ohio State. The men's teams involved, sources said, include Wisconsin, Michigan State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Penn State. Minnesota is the odd one out from the 7-team conference.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, when you have 7 teams and I guess it's technically the furthest one away. No, that'd be Penn State. Yeah, a little odd that you exclude Minnesota out of that. That's got to make those people mad. But that's pretty cool. Like, make a whole event of Big Ten hockey, and get the WCHA for the women's side in there. You can still make it about the Big Ten because I mean, Minnesota's there, Wisconsin, Ohio State. I mean, that's awesome. Like, and I know it's been a while since Wisconsin's played an outdoor game. I think the last one was.
Says here 11 years ago. Yeah.
Was that at Lambeau?
Was that
or
the
was that
Lambeau
the one at
one?
Camp Randall?
Oh, I don't know. I remember the Lambeau one now that you mentioned that, but
yeah, I went to the Camp Randall one when they beat Michigan. Then they beat Ohio State at Lambeau.
Says here,
but I don't remember the order of it.
Yeah, they defeated Minnesota at Soldier Field in 2013 in the Hockey City Classic.
Okay, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Didn't remember that one at all. Hey, but I think they do pretty good in outdoor games, it seems like, because I think they're undefeated then in those 3.
Yeah, because they downed Ohio State.
Because they used to play on the lake.
Oh, that Lambeau one was in 2006. That was longer than I thought. Camp Randall was 2010. It said
wow,
so.
yeah, I was way off on my dates.
Man, that long ago. Jeez, we're getting old, RJ. We're getting really old.
We are.
So.
Seems like just yesterday.
Hey, RJ, kind of a fun summer project we're working on here is, kind of coming up with a big time bracket of trying to identify, voted on as by the listeners here, of some of the most underrated Wisconsin athletes in our history. Yesterday, we finalized the Packers region, and we got enough Badger athletes to make a Badger region. So the top 16 are based off the amount of nominations we have from listeners and such. And I'm like, well, it's a perfect day. I mean, we got our Badger expert on, RJ Cardinal. Let's throw out a few more names there. So I texted you ahead of time. Is there a few names that kind of jump out to you when we talk about maybe an underrated Badger basketball, football, hockey, whatever the case may be, Badger athlete of all time?
The weird, like to be underrated, you're not really a stat like a big stats guy. So like I really had trouble even thinking of hockey players.
Right.
But because most of the time it turns into somebody will look at you and say, no, that guy was really, really good. What are you talking about? So
right.
I kind of stayed away from hockey right now, at least, because I even have to do a little more research on that, because like I'm thinking of a names and then I look them up. I'm like, oh no, he was too good. Sorry. But like for basketball, I had 3 like pop out immediately. At first, Andy Kilbride played in the early '90s, and he's a name a lot of people remember. But he was like the either the 4th or 5th starter, depending on how you want to look at it, because he played with Michael Finley, Richard Griffith, and Tracy Webster, and was on that first NCAA team to make the tournament in 47 years. And he was just that model of consistency. He was only one of 3 players to start all 29 games that year. So, like, where some of his stats won't pop off, like Finley, Griffith, and Webster, like, that's just like a glue guy there that was important to the team, but his name's remembered just not as fondly as those 3. And so that one popped out to me. Another one, John Bryant from the 2000s Final Four team. He just always seemed to be that guy that would make a 3-pointer when it needed to happen. And I mean, in the run to the Final Four, he had that game where he made 7 threes against Fresno State and helped the Badgers advance on there when they forced an absurd amount of turnovers in that game. And I can't remember what it was, but it's like you look at the stat line and you'd look at it and be like, no, that didn't happen. But like it was like 20 some odd turnovers they forced in the game. And he's just a name that always popped out because it was just like he's not a big scoring average guy, but he's always a guy who you could put the ball in his hand, and more often than not, it was going in the hoop. And then a current underrated player, I think we have to look at Kamari McGee. I mean, when he went down, depth went down, and the basketball team kind of hit a skid while he was out. When he came back, they started playing a little better. So I think in terms of underrated right now, I would say Kamari McGee. Those are the 3 basketball players I came up with. And then over on the football side, some of the names might be very memorable, but I don't think they get the respect that they deserve because of the success Wisconsin has had lately. And the oldest one on there, and the guy who held the school's rushing record up until Ron Dane broke it, Billy Merrick, who, he was the third person, 4th 1,000-yard rusher in school history. You could also throw Rufus Ferguson in there for people remember him, but they know the name, they've seen the touchdown dance, all that kind of stuff. But both those guys, Merrick and Ferguson, are guys who were a lot more than what people think they were, especially since they were not on good football teams. You had guys like Merrick went for 1,000 yards or more in 3 seasons. And I mean, that's when you really didn't play as a freshman. So and you weren't playing in 13 games a year. So, I mean, he's a guy that I think people have forgotten about. maybe not underrated, just forgotten. I don't know if that correlates to being the same thing, but in my mind, it kind of does. When you look at it, and that's the guy who you can really say he and Ferguson really were probably, outside of Alan Amici, the first great running backs at Wisconsin. The other two from the 90s, at least, Pete Monty, guy who quietly went around about his business, got second team All Big Ten and first team All Big Ten, but outside of that wasn't really recognized, I think, nationally like he should have been. He went on and played in the NFL, but was more a journeyman kind of guy than a star there. But like you said, we're talking about their time with the Badgers, but he's still the all-time tackling leader. So he did pretty well for himself. The other one, this is another one where I'm not sure it's underrated, but it's because Jamar Fletcher played on the other side. Mike Eccles leads the school in career passes deflected, and like I said, I'm not sure it's underrated, but like forgotten. Or oh yeah, Mike Eccles was there too. And yeah, I mean, he was as locked down of a corner as there was, and I mean that defensive backfield was just amazing. Then I went with Tyler Donovan. I mean, if they use your film in a movie, you got to be somewhat okay, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, he had the task of following up John Stocco's career, and was playing behind him for 3 years, and then took over and just touchdown to pass ratio wasn't the greatest, but threw for 2,600 yards and ran for almost 300. So he was a very serviceable quarterback. Where I know, especially it was a name in this state, went to Arrowhead and people knew him, but like at some point, I think doubt maybe went over people, being like, well, I mean, he's not John Stocco, and then I mean, kind of surpassed Stocco in pass yardage, at least there, his senior year. And then along those lines as well, one of his receivers, Luke Swan, from Finnemore, he came here as a walk-on, earned his way all the way up to the number 3 receiver on the team. Some of those stats aren't going to stick out because you're the third receiver in a rushing offense. But by his senior year, was voted a team captain, and like knowing him personally, he's a great guy.
Well, that's funny you mentioned his name, RJ, because somebody threw Luke Swan out earlier too, and I'm like, that's a good pull, and then you pull him out there too. So I'm like, hey, now we got a guy with multiple votes now here.
There you go, already 2 votes.
Right. So there, I don't know if you have it was actually on our Facebook page that they put out Luke Swan. So I don't know if you got like a burner account and that was you or anything, but
no, I don't think so.
we got a couple now for Luke Swan. All right.
Well, there you go.
I don't like that. Really quick before I let you go, I love how you did this, because this is exactly these were the type of names I was looking for. We had a few votes for these two guys, and this is where I'm maybe struggling with it a little bit. Chris Chambers and Lee Evans. Were they underrated at Wisconsin? Because I mean, they were first round picks too, weren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I think Lee Evans is more remembered for being injured and missing some time, even though, I mean, he was a great receiver here. And Chris Chambers, I mean, this is where it comes into play. Do you say it's underrated because they were pretty good receivers at Wisconsin, and maybe their stats don't reflect how good of receivers they actually are? Or is it sometimes, I have a lot of names pop in my head, and then it was like, oh, I should say that one. No, like they're remembered fondly. So like, it's like one of those, you also got to kind of take your definition of underrated, and that can change for anybody. Like I said, some like Billy Merrick, it's because he's forgotten. I think he gets lost in all the success the running backs have had since the 90s, and it's some things like that. Now all the linebackers that have come through Wisconsin, and Pete Monty is now lost, even though he's still the career's tackle leader. Even when kids can stay for 5 or 6 years, well, for that short period run, I think we're done with that after this year, maybe.
Maybe.
But yeah, it doesn't hurt to throw them out there, because I mean that's where the debate is then, right?
Right.
But yeah, for me, it's like the people who are forgotten, or don't put up the stats, but are like Luke Swan becomes a team captain. At some point, your stats don't matter, and if your whole team votes you on as a captain and you started as a walk-on, I mean that's pretty darn good.
Right. I love this list. This is perfect. You passed the test, RJ, so thank you for that. He's RJ Cardinal, Badger analyst from the Zone in Madison. Appreciate it as always, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your week. Best of luck for any other outings that you got coming up here, man. So, well. Oh, did we lose you? Did we lose you? Still there?
Yeah.
Oh, you're still there. So, lost you there for a second. So.
Oh wow. Okay. I was just saying my next one's not until July.
So you got plenty of practice time
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of practice time.
All right. RJ, appreciate it, buddy. We'll catch up with you again soon, okay?
Sounds good. We will talk to you later.
You got it. There you go. RJ Cardinal bringing it as always. We got to take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the program already with some picks and predicts. Brought to you by the Elbow Room. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, time to wrap up things on this Tuesday morning. Let's do some picks and predicts brought to you by the Elbow Room in Eau Claire. Looking for somewhere to maybe catch some of the games? Got trivia coming up on Wednesdays, or you just want to talk some sports with Garrett over there? Hit up the Elbow Room, located right next to the Banbury Place in Eau Claire. Let's do some baseball games, shall we? Pick some baseball games here. Let's bring up the schedule here. So we got some more teams in action today here. Let's start. Ooh, this should be a decent one here too. We got Atlanta taking on Baltimore. Atlanta taking on Baltimore. I'm gonna go with Atlanta in this game. Let's go with what else should we pick up here? Let's go Philly at Boston. I'm gonna go Philly in this game. Colorado at Minnesota. Minnesota picking up a 5-0 victory last night. Let's go with Minnesota again. How about Pittsburgh at St. Louis? I'm gonna go Pittsburgh in this one. Let's then move on to let's go Texas at the Dodgers. The Rangers at the Dodgers. I'm going to go with the Dodgers in this one. And then let's go Yankees at Kansas City. The Yankees picked up the 4-2 victory last night. You got Stroman on the mound. I'm going to go with the Yankees in this one. And then finally, we've got the Crew taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Carlos Rodriguez in his debut. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays with a win tonight. So I'll go with the Toronto Blue Jays. But what is it? I was looking. Oh yeah, the preview here. Home run leaders. You got Willie Damas has got 10 there with Rhys Hoskins. You got Dalton Varsho up there with 10 home runs too. Runs batted in. Dalton Varsho leading the Blue Jays. It looks like too. So yeah, check it out if you want to see Marshfield native, former Eau Claire Express player Dalton Varsho in action. All right. Big thanks for everybody who texted in your Badger nominations for the most underrated Badger athlete of all time. We'll try to get that bracket, or I should say that region, that Badger region put together today like we did with the Packer one. Make sure you're checking out the Facebook pages when we unveil that. And hopefully by the end of the week here, we'll have the entire bracket in place so we can start to debate the matchups and put it to a vote from everybody out there. So big thanks to all of you who gave us your nominations, that texted in your nominations there. So I think we'll do Brewers a little bit later on. I might wait for Brandon, so we might do that on Friday. We'll do the open, maybe do a little bit of an open one for the next couple of days. We got the Bucks included on there, and the rest of the states, whether it's different college or maybe some Olympians and that sort of stuff. So think about that for the next couple of days here. We'll hold on to the Brewers one until Fridays. That way we can get Brandon to chime in on that one. So we talked a lot of Brewers with that W last night, 3-1 victory over Toronto. Again, they win tonight, they'll secure at least another series win. Otherwise, they'll try to, they got a day game on Wednesday before an off day on Thursday. So what else do we got here? We talked a little Bucks here with Darvin Ham returning to the team as the lead assistant coach on Doc Rivers' coaching staff. So I like the move. I think it's a solid move bringing him back. Giannis and a lot of those veterans that were on the team while he was there, while he was still a coach there, really like Darvin Ham, respect him and such. So I think that's a smart move by Doc Rivers to bring him back to Milwaukee. You can catch that, by the way, you can catch that Brewers game tonight. First pitch is at 7:10 on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Send me your nominations too for our weekend warriors. For the love of the game, we're looking for youth players, coaches, officials. We want to highlight them every Friday. Your backyard tailgate tips, we want to feature those every Tuesday. Throwback Thursday shout outs, all that fun stuff. All right, hit up our website, sportstalk1051.com/fan-cave. Also, want your outdoor photos. We're trying to do some more outdoor stuff on here as well. DP and the Dance, they're up next. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Mobile Man Cave is going to be out tonight. Check it out on the roads. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.